Here's our last section, energy efficiency and renewable energy. We're looking at biomass and geothermal right now, our last two sections. So, bio means living. Biomass is using plant and animal wastes to produce energy, okay? So, like the others, a lot of those others we've talked about, is an indirect form of solar energy because plants need the sunlight to grow, and then we are burning the plants. Or we are burning the waste from a plant-eating animal like a cow, okay? Some crops are made once, let me say it again. Some crops, once we harvest the stuff that we want from them, like corn, we can take the husk, or from sugarcane, once we press them to get the sugar juice out of it, we can then burn the leftover material at a biomass facility to generate electricity. Now, the thing about biomass is that it can be having zero net carbon output if we plant enough plants and or trees to sequester the same quantity of carbon we are producing by cutting down and then burning the other plant material. Does that make sense? By cutting down certain trees and burning them, we will release CO2. If we plant enough trees to replace them, they will sequester out that CO2, right? So, number one, we are ensuring fuel source for the future and sucking carbon out that we are emitting to generate our energy. Next. Oh, wait. Go back there. Pause it. Advantages and disadvantages. Run through it. Check it out. Boom. Geothermal energy. There's lots of heat that is stored underground in rocks, soil, fluids, right? And we want to tap into that, right? So think about Florida on a hot summer day. Go to the beach. You can't even take your sandals off when you first get there because it's so hot. It burns your little tootsies, you know what I mean? But if you dig down just 6 inches underneath the top layer of sand, you can see that there's a huge difference in the temperature of the sand down there, right? And that's just 6 inches. In geothermal pumps, you only have to go down 10 to 20 feet into the ground to get enough of a temperature discrepancy to then pump down fluid. Some just use water, right? And you can pump it down there in the summertime, pump water down there, and it will cool off underground and then be used to cool your house. In the wintertime, it's warmer than the ambient air temperature, so you can pump it there. And even if it doesn't heat it up all the way, it at least preheats some of the water or some of the air that's being pumped down there. And then you have to use less energy in a furnace to heat it the rest of the way so it's comfortable, okay? So that's how a geothermal heat pump works. Pumping a fluid or sometimes air underground to where it's hotter in the winter than the ambient air and cooler in the summer than the ambient air. 1% of the world's, and this is currently right now, 1% of all the electricity of all the energy consumed in the world right now is produced for 60 million people, right, by geothermal, and has the same energy output as 104 nuclear power plants. So small systems like the heat pump that I mentioned that go onto each house. All right, my friend here in Florida has one. That's how he heats and cools his home. Or large systems, hydrothermal reserves. Now these you are tapping into, and you're not looking for just the temperature differences in the ground, in the soil, 10 to 20 feet under. You're trying to tap into superheated water that when you puncture into it can be released as steam, right, once that pressure is released, or as superheated water that can then be used. All right, so the steam is great because it can then go be used to turn a turbine and then generate electricity that can then supply a large number of people with electricity. We are number 1 in geothermal around the world. So the largest producer of geothermal electricity from these reserves, the ones that release steam and superheated water. Most is produced in California, Nevada, Utah, and Hawaii. Look at that vent right there, just hot steam coming out. Advantages and disadvantages, check them out. Beautiful. Hydrogen power, fuel cells. All right, so in a fuel cell, we are combining hydrogen gas, the H2, and oxygen gas, O2, And we produce electricity and then water vapor. All right, so it's a clean form of energy. Emits no CO2 and provides more energy per gram than any other fuel. It's amazing. Now, we've got this little video that I'm going to go ahead and play here. There's some advantages and disadvantages. Go ahead and pause it right here and take a peek. Now what I'm going to do is, it's about a 5-minute video. I'm going to play it on here because I know some of you won't go through to the video file and check it out online. So let me play this thing and then we'll call it a day. Come on, play. No, it's not going to play. Hold on. Wait 1 second. I promise you it's coming. It's happening.
Esurance was born online,
Right after
which means fewer costs, which saves money. Their customer experience is virtually painless.
Fuel cell electric cars, or FCEVs, provide drivers with the same benefits as current gasoline vehicles, with a comparable driving range and refueling it in just a few minutes. FCEVs don't use combustion, so they return better fuel economy than today's cars, and also reduce emissions by 50 to 90%. Most experts point to 2015 as the year when fuel cell vehicles will enter the U.S. market in significant quantities. Many automakers have production-ready FCEV models on the road already, and fuel cell costs have come down by 80% in just the past few years. Honda has been leasing their FCX Clarity to consumers since July of 2008, and the FCEV Toyota Highlander can travel 430 miles on a single tank of hydrogen while achieving the equivalent of nearly 70 gasoline miles per gallon.
The automobile companies are moving to a future of hydrogen as a fuel and a fuel cell as the engine underneath the hood.
One car maker that is firmly committed to hydrogen as its fuel of the future is Mercedes-Benz. Introduced at the recent Frankfurt Motor Show, this F-125 fuel cell-powered sedan concept is exactly the kind of car Mercedes expects to be building in the coming decades. Earlier this year, Mercedes took 3 of their B-Class fuel cell hatchbacks on an around-the-world journey running exclusively on hydrogen. The cars covered more than 18,000 miles over 125 days without a powertrain breakdown. But that exercise also pointed out the major challenge in hydrogen's widespread deployment: building an infrastructure. Virtually all of the hydrogen used by the cars was dispensed from mobile tankers and compressed at each fuel stop. But considerable progress is being made. California's Air Resources Board and Energy Commission have invested heavily in co-funding public-private partnerships to build hydrogen infrastructure. The state now has more than 30 hydrogen fueling stations open or under development. And if adequate fueling is available, they expect to have up to 53,000 fuel cell vehicles on the road in California alone by the end of 2017.
The way I'm getting the hydrogen right now is from a station in West Los Angeles at a Shell station, and they're electrolyzing water using renewable energy. So this car, from the whole operation of the vehicle, is non-polluting. No other car can match that right now.
The challenge of building hydrogen infrastructure has spawned some truly outside-the-box thinking. Located in Fountain Valley, California, the world's first tri-generation fuel cell produces hydrogen, heat, and electricity using biogas generated by the Orange County Sanitation District's wastewater treatment facility. The hydrogen produced by the system is sent to a hydrogen fueling station that is open to the public and can support up to 50 FCEV fill-ups per day. The fuel cell also produces 250 kilowatts of power for use by the wastewater treatment plant. This innovative on-site approach to hydrogen generation, co-funded by the state, industry, and the U.S. Department of Energy, is shaping how the infrastructure challenge will be met nationwide. Hydrogen has great potential for use in larger vehicles as well. The Connecticut Department of Transportation and AC Transit in California already have several hydrogen fuel cell buses in daily operation on urban loops, and other cities are jumping on board the hydrogen bus as well. Private and corporate investors have stepped up too. General Motors is testing a new generation of their Chevrolet FC EV in Hawaii in partnership with the gas company.
One of the things that we're working on is how to put the infrastructure in on a state-by-state basis. In our case, we've chosen Hawaii because it offers us a great opportunity to test bed the hydrogen fuel cell as well as the hydrogen infrastructure in a contained environment.
The tipping point of widespread hydrogen fuel cell vehicle acceptability will be reached when the amount of vehicles and fueling stations is enough to attract significant public support and private investment. Thanks to continued collaboration between energy suppliers, car makers, and the government, the promise of hydrogen as the fuel of the future is becoming a reality right here and now.
Well, wasn't that amazing? Hope you enjoyed our journey. Cheers.